Hello and welcome you all in the course of probability and statistics. Now today we should learn about the skewness. In last lecture we have to see the type of the skewness. Now we have to see suppose actual example, that is the data is given, then corresponding to that data how we can check is which type of the skewness. That is no skewness, positive skewness, yeah, negative skewness. So let's start the first example. So here we are interested to find out the Karl Pearson coefficient of skewness. Yeah, simply is known as the find the coefficient of skewness from the given data. Now the data is given, say 3, 4, 8, 2, 4, 4, 3, 4, 7 and so on 11. So now we have to start. Say the Karl Pearson coefficient of skewness is denoted by Sk and is defined as in terms of say measure of central tendency. That is a linear combination of mean, mode, standard deviation. Yeah, we have to say that variance. So Sk is defined as mean minus mode upon standard deviation. So now ultimately we have to say that to find out this standard deviation, we have to find out this three quantity. So first one mean, the second one we have to find out the mode, and the third quantity sigma is nothing but is a symbol of standard deviation. So next to find out this Karl Pearson coefficients, ultimately we have to find out one by one this all the three quantity. So let's first find out the mean. So as we know or we have to study in our schooling level, when we have to study little bit about say probability not and statistics. So these are the part of the statistics, and we know that if this type of data is given, that is just like x1, x2, x3 and so on. So xi is given but corresponding frequency is not given. So this type of data is known as ungrouped data. So here in this example the data is ungrouped data. So we know that the value of mean is nothing just sum of all xi divided by total number of xi. So we have to write down all these xi, that is 3 plus 4 plus 8 plus 2 and so on plus 11 in this numerator. And if we have to count, there are how many observations? Say first, second, third, fourth and so on. You have to calculate, it's a total 12 observations. So the value of capital N is 12. So by simplifying this simple equation, we have to get mean is 67 divided by 12. So we have to obtain this first quantity. Next to calculate mode. So now here the data is ungrouped data, so it's very simplest to find out the mode. Now this row represents the data again. These are our data 3, 4, 8, 2 and so on 11. So it is easily seen that the number 3, that is this green highlighted number, so 3 is repeated twice, that is 2 times. Now 4, so we have to highlight it by this blue color. So 4 is repeated 4 times. Now 8, that is highlighted by red color, is repeated 2 times, yet twice. The remaining number is not repeated, just like say 7 is not repeated, 11 is not repeated. So we have to highlight which of the number is repeated more than once. And we have to observe that say 4 is repeated 4 times. So its frequency is highest, so we have to say that mode is 4. So we have to calculate the two quantity. The first one is mean, second one is mode. So next we have to calculate the standard deviation. So now to find the standard deviation, now for ungrouped data, the standard deviation is defined as sum of summation d square upon n, where this small d is nothing but is deviation of the data from their actual mean. So is represent as d is equal to x. X is nothing, is given data, how many xi is given. Now capital M is stand for mean. Now it depends on you, as you wish. Then you have to write down the symbol mu also, because we know that mu is also represent mean. Now some of the author use the x bar. So as per your convenience, either you have to write down say mu, yeah x bar, yeah mean. It depends on you. So we have to write down say deviation d is equal to x minus m. So to calculate the standard deviation, ultimately we have to find out this numerator, that is sum of d square. So in first column we have to write down all our observations, that is 3, 4, 8, 2 and so on 11. So 3, 4, 8, 2 and so on 11. Now second column we have to find out the deviation of the data from their mean. So here in the first option we have to find out mean is 67 divided by 12, and this second column is nothing but data, that is x minus mean. So just particularly about say this cell, say value of x is 3 minus the value of mean that is 67 divided by 12, and the simplification of this leads to minus 2.583. Now for this cell the x is 4, mean is as it is because it's common for all the data. So 4 minus 67 divided by 12, so it leads to minus 1.583. Similarly we have to find out deviation from each of the cell and substitute in respective cell. So these are nothing but 8 minus 67 divided by 12, so we have to get 2.416. So this second column represents the deviation. But to calculate standard deviation, we have to require d square. So we have to prepare one more column, d into d, that is d square. So these are nothing but negative 2.583 into itself. So it gives 6.673. Similarly, this cell is multiplication of minus 1.583 with itself, so we have to get 2.506. Similarly, this all the cell is obtained by taking square of corresponding value of d. So we have to get d square. So now to find out or plugging all these value in this formula of standard deviation. So standard deviation is sum of d square upon n, but remember these are d square. So to get the sum d square we have to find out sum of this last column, that is 6.673 plus 2.506 plus 5.840 and so on plus 29.340, it leads to 90.916 divided by capital N, that is total number of observation, and here total number of observation is 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on 12. So we have to get 90.916 divided by 12. So it leads square root of 7.576. Further simplification leads say sigma is 2.752. So we have to calculate all the three quantities, say mean, mode and standard deviation. So we have to plug in all these value in this equation star, because we have to know mean, mode, standard deviation. So from equation star, that is the skewness is mean, that is 67 divided by 12, mode is 4, so 4, and the standard deviation is 2.752. So further simplification leads the Karp-Pearson coefficient of skewness is 0.575, and we know that if the value of skewness is greater than 0, then it represents the positive skewness. Let's see one more example. Now again Here we are interested to find out say Karl Pearson coefficients of skewness from the following data. Now here the data is not ungrouped data. Here is group data is given because the marks is given say 20, 21, 22, 23 and so on 28, and corresponding say frequency is given, that is number of students say 7, 12, 25 and so on one. Yeah, in another words we have to say that if we have to take a one exam say in particular class, now the second row represents the frequency of students and now the first row represents the obtained marks of the students. Now suppose in a particular class say there are 80 students, we have to take an exam of 30 marks. So this cell represents that out of 80 say 7 students gets the 20 marks, out of 80 say 12 students get 21 marks, 25 students get 22 marks and so on, only one student gets 28 marks. So total number of students is 80, total marks of the exam is 30, and we are interested is a which type of skewness, that is how much data is distributed throughout the range. So according to the skewness coefficients we have to find out three measure of central tendency, that is mean, mode and standard deviation. So one by one again we have to calculate mean, mode, standard deviation. So let's first of all find out mean, and as we know that here the data is a group data, so again we have to use our little bit knowledge of statistics which we have to study in schooling level. So mean is defined as the sum of Fixi upon sum of Fi. So we are interested to obtain sum of Fixi and sum of Fi. So for that we have to write down this first row, that is marks as a first column, say 20, 21, 22 up to 28. So 20, 21, 22 up to 28. And now the corresponding frequency of the students, that is 7, 12, 25 up to 1, is right down in the second column, 7, 12, 25 up to 1. So first column is act, second column is app, and we are interested to find out f into x. So third column we have to find out multiplication of these two. So 20 into 7, so it's let's 140. 21 into 12, that is 252, and so on. 28 into 1, 28. But numerator is the sum of this frequency into observation. So we have to find out sum of this last column, that is 140 plus 252 plus 550 plus and so on plus 28. So it leads 1831. So mean, that is numerator is sum of Fixi but is nothing but 1831. Denominator is sum of Fi. But we know that when the data is a group data, so sum of Fi is, that is capital N. So in this case sum of Fi, so 7 plus 12 plus 25 and so on plus 1, that is 80. So it represents the total number of students. And by simplifying this we have to get mean is 22.887. So we have to get the first quantity. Next we have to obtain this second quantity mode. So see in this frequency table the highest frequency, so 7, 12, 25, 10, 8 and so on 1. So the highest frequency is this 25, and which is, and corresponding to which the value of x is 12, 22. So the highest frequency 25 is corresponding to x, that is 22. So we have to say that the value of mode is 22. Yeah, in another words we have to say that say out of 80 say measure, that is 25 students get the 22 marks. So we have to say that mode is 22. At the last we have to find out the standard deviation. So when our data is a group data, So standard deviation, that is sigma, is sum of f into d square upon n, where capital N is nothing but sum of fi. Now d, that is same as, just like for ungrouped data, is nothing but it represents the deviation of the data from their actual mean. So again, d is nothing but is a deviation from the mean. So this m represents the mean. So we have to write down this three column is as it is carry forward here in this table. So these are marks, number of students, f into h, which we have to already discuss in this slide. Now next we have to prepare the deviation, is nothing but data minus that mean. So here the mean is 22.887. So for this cell x is 20 minus mean, that is 22.887. So it splits negative 2.887. For this cell x is 21 minus mean is 22.887. So it splits negative of 1.887. Similarly, we have to obtain all these value corresponding x minus value of mean. But we are interested in d square, so we have to find out square of each of this cell and substitute in respective cell. So this cell is nothing but square of negative 2.887. Now 3.560 is nothing but square of negative of 1.887. Similarly, the square of 5.113, that is 26.142. In the last column, we have to obtain the value of numerator, that is f into d, that is nothing but f d square. So these are f, these are d square. So 7 into 8.334, so it splits approximate 58 point something. 12 into 3.560, so approximately 42 point something. Similarly, 1 into 26.142, so 26.142. And we are interested to find out, say, fd square. So here in numerator is not only fd square, is a sum of fd square. So the sum of fd square, that is the sum of the last column. So 58.343 plus 42.729 and so on, 26.142. So it's lead 311.987. So plugging this value in numerator, again I will repeat, please we consider this numerator is sum of f into d square instead of only f d square. So numerator is 311.987, denominator is capital N, but capital N, that is sum of fi, and sum of frequency, that is total number of students, so 80. So sum of fd square is 311 point something upon 80, so its least standard deviation is 1.974. So we have to obtain all the three quantity, mean, mode, standard deviation. So plug in all these value in our equation star. So we have to get, say, mean, that is 22.887, mode is 22, and the standard deviation is 1.974. By simplifying this, we have to get the coefficient of skewness is 0.449, and again the skewness coefficient is greater than 0, so we have to say that is a positive skewness. Now remember, this slide is not a part of the syllabus, but I have to include it just for better understanding of the topic. So this table represents the marks and the frequency of the students. So here we have to obtain the frequency distribution graph by using the help of the software, and now you have to see here, say there are x-axis represents the number of students and y-axis represents the obtained marks of the students. So 20, so there are 20 students, sorry, there are 20 marks obtained by 7 students. So we have to write down here, say 20 into 7. So there are total 12 students who get say 21 marks. So something like here between 10 and 15. So 12 students get 21 marks. Similarly, we have to say that 25 students get 22 marks. So 25 students, so it's represented by this. And at the last, there are only one students who get 28 marks. So number of students, so it's just like see only one students who get 28 marks. And we have to obtain the graph, and we have to see the nature of the graph, the peak value attained by the graph at initially, then there is a right tail, just like these are the right tail as compared to left tail, and we know that this type of graph is known as the positive skewness. It attains the highest frequency at beginning. So if we have to know the behavior of the graph, then also we have to predict the data attains the which type of skewness. So thank you so much for paying your attention.